uh, Virgo, wait before you do anything else, before you skip ahead, before you turn this on in the background while you do something else. I need you to actually be here for this one present, eyes open, because what came through for Virgo today is not the kind of energy you half listen to. This is the kind you sit with. I almost didn't know how to open this reading. I sat with the energy for a long time, longer than usual, because what kept coming through felt almost too specific, too pointed. And I kept asking myself, is this really what I'm picking up on? Is this actually as significant as it feels? And every time I asked that question, the answer came back the same: yes. So here we are. Virgo, someone has been talking about you. And I don't mean in passing, I don't mean the casual way your name comes up in small talk or surface conversation. I mean, someone or more than one someone has been having private, deliberate, significant conversations about you, about your life, about who you are, about what you mean to them, about what they did or didn't do, about what they wish was different. And you had no idea. Let me stay here for a moment, because I think what makes this particular energy so striking is not just that the conversations happened, it's what was said. And it's the fact that whatever was said in those private moments has created a shift, a real one. The kind that changes how someone sees you, how someone approaches you, how someone thinks about their own choices in relation to you. The kind that doesn't just evaporate after the conversation ends, but settles in and does something. And you, Virgo, who processes everything, who notices everything, who picks up on the subtlest shifts in energy around you, you felt something was different recently, didn't you? You couldn't name it exactly. You couldn't point to a specific moment and say that's where it changed. But something in the atmosphere around a particular person or situation felt altered, like the air had been rearranged while you weren't in the room. Because it had. I keep sensing this very specific dynamic where someone who has had a complicated relationship with you, complicated in their own interior, complicated in how they feel about you, complicated in what they've done or failed to do, has recently been confronted, not necessarily by another person. Sometimes the confrontation happens internally. Sometimes life puts a mirror in front of someone and they can't look away from what they see. And what they saw involved you. What continues to come through so clearly is the image of a conversation that happened behind closed doors, metaphorically, literally, or both, where the subject was you, your name was in the air. Your energy was in the room, even though your body wasn't. And the things that were said, they were not small things. They were the kind of things people say when they finally stop performing and start being honest, when the social mask slips and what's underneath comes out. Some of what was said was about how much you matter. I want you to sit with that, because for some of you, what I'm picking up on is someone who has been privately, maybe even secretly, telling another person how deeply you've affected them, how much they think about you, how often you cross their mind in moments they didn't invite you into. Someone who presents one face to you, or who has been distant, or who has acted unbothered but in private. Behind the doors they close when they think no one is watching their real feelings. They are anything but unbothered. They have been talking about you the way people only talk about someone who has gotten deep under their skin. Mm. Let me stay with this because I feel there are different layers here and I want to honor all of them. For some Virgos, what I'm describing is romantic. Someone who has feelings for you that they haven't expressed, feelings they've been processing out loud with a trusted person in their life, a friend who knows, a family member who's heard the confession, someone they went to because the feelings got too big to carry alone. And in that private conversation, things were said about you that would change the way you understand this person's behavior. Things that would make certain confusing moments suddenly make complete sense. The way they went quiet at a certain point, there's a reason. The way they pulled back when things started to deepen, there's a reason. The way they look at you sometimes, just a second too long, there's a reason. And that reason has been spoken aloud, just not to you, not yet. For other Virgos, this energy has a different quality. What I'm sensing is more professional or social, a conversation that happened in a space you don't have access to, where your name came up in a context of recognition, someone advocating for you, someone saying things about your abilities, your character, your value that you would be genuinely moved to hear. Someone making a case for you in a room where the decision makers are listening. And it would not surprise me at all if the effects of that conversation start to become visible in your life very soon. An opportunity that seems to come from nowhere. A shift in how someone in a position of influence treats you. A door that opens and you won't immediately know why, but this is why. Someone put your name in the right conversation at the right time. The energy strongly suggests that you are being talked about in ways that are significantly more favorable than you currently believe. Let that land for a second, because I know how Virgo tends to think. I know that self critical inner voice that's always running in the background, cataloging every imperfection, replaying every misstep, quietly constructing a case for why you're not quite enough in some way you can't entirely articulate. And while you're running that internal monologue, while you're quietly doubting yourself in ways you'd never let anyone else see, other people are having completely different conversations about you. They are not seeing what your inner critic sees. They are seeing your brilliance, your depth, your reliability, your particular quality of mind, the way you show up, the way you care, the way you think, the impact you leave on the people and spaces you move through, impact you often don't register because you're already moving on to the next thing, already focused on what needs to be better, already 3 steps past the moment where you did something genuinely remarkable. Other people registered it, other people remembered it, other people have been talking about it. There is a powerful feeling that for many Virgos, what's coming, the change that this private conversation sets into motion, involves a revelation of some kind. Something being brought into the light that has been living in the shadows. And the quality of this revelation doesn't feel threatening or destabilizing, it feels clarifying. Like finally getting the missing piece of a puzzle you've been working on for a long time. Like suddenly understanding something about a situation or a person that reframes everything you experienced. That reframe is coming, and it's going to change things. Not in a chaotic way, in a settling way, in a way that makes something inside you exhale and say, oh, so that's what that was. That's why that happened. That's what was really going on beneath the surface of all of that. I want to take a moment and talk about something deeper here because I think it's essential to everything. Virgo, you have a particular relationship with the unseen, with what's not being said, with the space between words. You are extraordinarily perceptive, sometimes uncomfortably so, and you have learned over the years to trust what you pick up on, even when you can't prove it. Even when the evidence doesn't quite line up on the surface, you feel things before they're confirmed. You know things before they're admitted. And there have been moments recently, I think, where you picked up on something around a specific person or situation and then talked yourself out of it, told yourself you were reading too much into things, told yourself you were being paranoid or overly sensitive or projecting, told yourself that what you felt in your body when you were around this energy was probably just you overthinking again. You were not overthinking. What you felt was real. What you sensed was accurate. What your system was trying to tell you about this person or situation, the thing you kept second guessing, there was truth in it. And what's coming is the external confirmation of what you already knew internally. That's what changes everything. Not just the information itself, but the validation of your own perception. The proof that you can trust yourself, that your instincts are not enemies to be managed, but intelligence to be honored. That when something feels off, something is off, and when something feels significant, it is significant. Trust yourself, Virgo, more than you currently do, more than you've been allowing yourself to. I keep sensing a specific person, and I want to be careful here because I don't want to put a concrete face on this if your situation is different. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But I keep sensing someone in your world who has been performing a certain version of themselves for you, not maliciously necessarily. People perform versions of themselves for all kinds of reasons: fear, shame, protection, pride. But this person has been showing you a curated face while something much more complicated and much more real has been happening underneath it. And in private, in the conversations they thought were contained, in the moments they thought were sealed, the real version of the story has been leaking out. Someone knows what they did. Someone knows how they really feel. Someone has been admitting things in private that they haven't found the courage or the language or the right moment to say to you directly. It would not surprise me at all if there is a direct conversation coming, something they finally say to your face or directly to you in whatever form that takes, that carries the weight of everything that's been said behind the scenes, something that feels overdue, something that when it arrives, you'll receive with a complicated mixture of emotions, relief, maybe some residual hurt, maybe a kind of quiet vindication that you didn't expect to feel so deeply because you knew, you always kind of knew, you just needed the world to catch up to what you were already feeling. The energy this week feels genuinely electric for Virgo in this way. Like information is moving, like the things that have been kept quiet are losing their ability to stay quiet. Like the private conversations are getting closer to the surface, closer to you, closer to the moment where they become part of your reality rather than just background noise you can occasionally almost hear. Pay attention this week. Pay attention to small shifts in how certain people speak to you, look at you, approach you. Pay attention to what's different because something will be different. You might feel it before it's fully articulate. Your body might register it before your mind has language for it. Someone's energy toward you might change in a way that's subtle but unmistakable to someone with your level of perceptiveness. That shift is the ripple of the conversation that's already happened. Everything points toward a significant unveiling for Virgo. Not all at once. This isn't the kind of energy that drops everything on you in a single overwhelming moment. It comes in layers. First, a feeling, then a sign, then a confirmation, then the full picture. And with each layer, something inside you that has been clenched begins to release. Something that has been tense begins to soften. Not because the truth is always comfortable, sometimes it isn't, but because the truth, whatever it is always better than the uncertainty. You have been living in an uncertainty that I think has cost you more than you've admitted. The not knowing, the almost knowing, the feeling something without being able to confirm it. That particular kind of limbo Virgo, you know exactly the one. I mean, it is exhausting in a way that's hard to explain to people who don't experience it the way you do. It's not dramatic exhaustion, it's the quiet, grinding kind that comes from holding a question open for too long without resolution. Resolution is coming. And with it, this is what I want you to really hear, with it comes a kind of freedom. Because once you have the full picture, once the private conversation becomes the open one, once the thing that was hidden is visible, you get to make real choices. Not choices based on incomplete information or a version of events that someone curated for your consumption. Real choices based on real truth about what you want, what you'll accept, and where you want to go from here. And I have a very strong feeling that once you have that clarity, once the full weight of what's been said in private becomes available to you, the choice you make will surprise even you. Not because it's irrational or impulsive, but because it will come from a place of such settled certainty that you won't need to deliberate the way you usually do. It will just be clear. You will just know. There is a powerful feeling that this moment, this week, this energy, this incoming revelation is a turning point that you will look back on. One of those hinges in the timeline of your life where you'll be able to say, that was when things started to really shift. That was when I got the information that changed how I understood things. That was when I stopped operating in the dark and started moving in full light. Move in full light, Virgo. You have spent enough time navigating by partial information, by almost truth, by the version of events that other people decided you were ready for. You deserve the whole story, and the whole story is making its way to you. Let me close here because I feel the energy beginning to settle into something quieter and more personal. Whatever it is that's been said about you in those private conversations, whatever your name is carried in the rooms you weren't in, I want you to know something. The reason you are talked about, the reason your energy takes up space even in your absence, the reason people find themselves confessing things about you when they thought they had it contained is because you are not ordinary. You never were. There's something about you that stays, that lingers, that matters in ways that reach further than you give yourself credit for. People don't have intense private conversations about people who are easily forgotten. People don't lose sleep over people who barely registered. People don't make secret confessions about people who didn't mean anything. You meant something. You mean something. And very, very soon, you're going to know exactly how much. Virgo, if this reading hit differently today, if something in here made your heart do something, made you catch your breath, made you think, wait, how did they know that I want to hear from you? Drop a comment below. Tell me what resonated. Tell me if you already had a feeling something was being said. Tell me what you've been sensing. This community is real, and your energy feeds this work in ways I genuinely feel every time I sit down to record. So talk to me. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Come back every week. Your readings are here waiting for you every season, every shift, every moment that matters. Go trust your instincts this week, Virgo. They were right all along.